say we bring home 700 to 1,000 on a Friday, that joint's going by Tuesday, maybe not even Sunday, maybe Tuesday. It depends on if there's bad dope and the quality's down. You're buying a lot more, and and with eating and expenses and laundry, it's just crazy. So, hi, my name's Candace Osmock. I'm from the suburbs, but I moved to Kensington about 7 years ago. And it's all been downhill since then.
How you doing today?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling all right. Happy.
It's a pleasure to be able to speak to you.
Thank you. You too.
Welcome to the channel.
They gonna find me. Subscribe.
And how long you said? You said you've been out in Kensington 6 years?
7.
What drugs do you currently struggle with?
Well, it started off with Suboxone in Bucks County, and then coming down here, I met all the people that just do dope, and it was cheaper, so that's how I got swept in with the wave. You know what I mean? So, and my health and everything has declined. Like, you'll have no idea.
So it's fentanyl you struggle with?
Yeah.
And what would withdrawal be like for you?
Man, at first it starts off with hot sweats. You can't think, and then next thing you know, your heart's pounding so bad, and then you're throwing up. You know what I'm saying? And then if you ain't going to the hospital, it's just getting worse and worse and worse, to the point you want to commit suicide. You just want the pain to be over. You know?
And how many bags a day would you say you use?
What's 5 times 100?
5 times 100?
I spend $100 a day.
Oh, okay. And it's just off of fentanyl, or do you struggle with any other drugs?
Well, I get some ice and maybe a couple Xannies if the dope don't work.
And the term ice, what's that, methamphetamine?
Yeah.
And how do you support these habits?
I got a boyfriend, a real good boyfriend.
And
I just stopped him from shooting too. He was a vicious in his neck. I was like, dog, like I worked on him, and now he's snorting.
Oh, so your boyfriend, he gets on too?
Yeah, but he was doing it way worse, and then I stopped him. So
And what are some of the challenges there are when you have two partners that both are addicted?
Well, if you're in a relationship and you have no intention to get clean, then that's not ever gonna work. But when I met him, our whole talk was like how we trying to get up out of here. You feel me? We bonded over the connection of us both wanting to get clean. And I never had a gentleman speak to me and treat me the way he does for the first time in my life. So I'm gonna do right by him, and he's gonna do right by me. I mean.
So what is that? Y'all gonna go into treatment together?
Well, nah, I'm gonna go to Penn. We have a cat, so one of us gotta go and then come back, and then he'll go. I'm gonna go first, and then when I get home, I'll watch the cat, and then he'll go. But here's my issue, and I'm gonna just be real. When I get sober, and to each his own, I get completely sober. I don't do no Suboxone, I don't do no methadone. The thing that hurts me the most about people is they don't want to live to their full potential. You understand? And you will never know unless you experience that. So, I don't know. It's just like a chain of events forced me into getting sober. I didn't want it, but once I got there, it was so much sweeter on that side, man.
And how long was you sober?
I was sober for 2.5 years.
And what would you say brought you back into your addiction?
I'm straight up. COVID hit, and my job had to get bum unemployment money, and then I was like, you know what? This is my way out. This is my way that I could go. You know what I mean? And I took the chance. So,
well,
I wasn't happy where I was anyway, though.
Well, let's go back in your past, for a second. How was your childhood growing up?
Okay, you ready? You ready? My childhood was not good. Besides me being sexually molested for over 10 years, My father would brutally beat my mother every night. Like, I remember him coming in with she cooked dinner all night. He walked in with a beer bottle, opened the oven, took out a hot potato in the aluminum foil, and said, "What's this shit?" And he smashed it in my mom's face, and she had burns till the day she died. So we all had to be like, my sister would all corral us in the room, and we'd be crying. It just was not good.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, sorry.
And who sexually molested you?
My mom's friend's son, but he was like 5, 6 years older than me, and this been going on since I was It's gonna get a little bit graphic. 4 till 10. I tried to tell them, no one believes me, and he would put me in so much pain that, I'm sorry to say this, but like, I couldn't even go to the bathroom, as a little girl. And every night I'd be under them covers praying to God that he wasn't going to come in, but so when I told my mom, she didn't believe me until she caught him red-handed.
So did he get in trouble for it?
Well, we was minors, so what my mom did, she called his father, and they had a big argument, and his father basically said, "What do you want me to do?" You know what I'm saying? Because that's the one. He's damaged too, though, because the one who's molested me, his dad worked for the Philadelphia mob, and he was a crackhead, so he was never home. So this child had access to all types of porn and all types of knives, and raised themselves. So hurt people. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
And when things like that happens, is it more difficult to actually love somebody or even trust someone?
No, man, you know what? Because I never punish the next person's actions for the last person. I never punish the next person for the last person's actions, or I'm gonna miss out on something that's meant for me. You feel me? But I'll tell you what, I've overcame sexual traumas, like, the certain ways they touch you or something may put you back in a flashback, and you talk to your partner and they know what to do and what's right or what's wrong.
And what's the highest grade that you completed in school?
I graduated.
Oh, smart. Nice.
Oh, I would like to say college, but
Oh, you went to college, huh?
no, I would like to say.
And what's some jobs you have had?
Oh man, what? You want to know what? I was a staff supervisor at a restaurant, and then I worked at the Clareton Motel, and they had the swingers ball there. 500 swingers from all across the country came. Man, I had the time of my life. We was dancing. That was a great job. I made $2,000, homie, in 3 days.
Wait a minute. So swingers.
The swingers ball, baby.
So the swingers ball. That's when partners come together and
from all across the world, and they have competitions. Miss Big Booty is Kalisha, and then she walking down the joint, and and it was so there. You gotta come up and hang out. I said, oh hell no. When I clocked out and I walked out, I look up at the balcony, and oh my God.
And how did you win? By dancing?
What you mean?
You said you won in the swingers club, right?
No.
I mean, no, you made what, 2,000-3,000? I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I'm saying, like, when I left for work that night, I looked out on the balcony and they was wilding out. They're banned for life.
Do you still go into swinger clubs?
Nah, well, that was a job. Yeah, so nah, I would never go to swinger club. I just had to be in that environment because they came to that hotel to do that.
And what's your living situation?
I live with my boyfriend, but right now, peep this, because of our drug addiction, our rent is $14,000 behind in rackages, and we just signed off on this emergency rental assistance program. Now, I just got an eviction notice on my door, and it's only saying $4,000. So I don't know if they paid $10,000 and we're responsible for $4,000. But my court date is 8:30 on March 30th, which is how many days away?
About a week. So, what is your backup plan If y'all do get evicted,
Oh, sorry. I'm the type person that, like, my family's been military. I could pack a bag, one book bag, and be out and live like that. You know what I'm saying? And be fine with that. But it's not healthy. But on the other hand, he's gonna lose everything. Like,
well, you do know it's resources out here. Nobody deserves to live like that, you know? Even though you strong and you look strong, and even though that's the case, nobody deserves to actually pack a bag and live on these streets, you know?
yeah, but like you said, what am I gonna do if we get evicted? You know, Philadelphia doesn't really care. They don't give you much time either. You know, I've been homeless in the dead of winter before. I want to say back in 2016. And that was the worst time of my life, man. I was eating out of dumpsters and shit. Had no money. Like, it was horrible. It was horrible.
And what brings you out here today, you know?
What brings me out here today is I'm sick, so I gotta go make a move, you know what I'm saying?
Sick mean as and
Withdrawal.
going through withdrawal?
Yeah.
And how bad is withdrawal for you?
Man, it's up there. It's up there. My heart palpitates. I've been having seizures, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you couldn't even imagine. I see colors, all types of shit.
When a person is withdrawing, what would be like the worst they would do? Would they kill, steal, and just to get what they need to get back well?
Probably steal, but another thing, I don't know if this is too graphic. A lot of people will, if they can't get the money and they don't have the urge to get out, they'll sit there and masturbate, because when you masturbate, it's the only thing that will give you the good chemicals in your brain to make you feel a little bit better. But you gotta times that by 1,000, and then you feel like...
Wait a minute.
Like,
you mean tell me people actually masturbate and that makes them feel better if they sick?
Not better, they feel phenomenal.
And how long do that feeling last?
Well, shit. Like, it feels good for, like, what, after... What do you mean by that? How long does the euphoria last?
Yeah, I mean, after they, handle their business, their pleasure,
Right?
how long does that hold up before they feel real sick again?
For me, not even a minute. Not even a minute. It's back to back to back to back.
And how did you learn that trick?
Because it was just a physical sensation. Like, I just felt it down there, you know what I'm saying? And then I did it, and I realized that it took me out of the pain. My serotonin was lower, I'm happier, but then, 30-40 seconds go by, and you gotta do it again. And then you start feeling like a pig, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it's just a piggish thing, but it ain't like...
Well, I'm quite sure, it's worse things you could be doing.
Yeah, like tricking, and I never sell my soul.
I mean, no judgment, but thank God you don't have to. But maybe sometimes look at your blessings, because you have somewhere to live, and
well, maybe, huh?
You out here in Kensington is just not the place to be for none of us,
Right.
And when you look in the mirror, what do you see?
I see a person that wants to say, it's hard enough to walk in my shoes, so don't make me look in the mirror.
Okay.
Remember them two sayings, like, oh, you can't walk in my shoes or look in the mirror? I combined the two, so.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna pray for you, and and I know the supporters will keep you in our prayers too.
Right.
Because we hope everything go right for you, and they find some type of relief, though you don't get evicted, and hopefully sooner than later you and your husband will go, and get the help that y'all deserve, and get it back together. And before I end this interview, if there's anything else you would like to add?
I'd like to say that I'm trying not to be silly, but Kevin Gates is the shit. And y'all need to listen to him more because he got some good ass songs. And I'm just grateful for the boy I'm with. He's been real down for me. Like, I'm not even working right now, and he's paying for everything. And I offered to leave. Like, he's a good dude. And I'm just, I'm just grateful that I can go to Penn Presbyterian and start getting this detox going.
Well,
And I'm glad I met y'all. So.
thank you. And, nice. And one last question before we go. And if your family was watching this, what would you like to say to them?
It's funny about that. My sister just got booked on a state parole charge, so she's going back upstate. So she ain't gonna watch it. My brother just got a gun charge. He's going back upstate. So my only sister or my grandma, what I want them to know is that I'm sorry for not calling them. I miss them, and within these next couple of weeks, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it like I did before, and I'm gonna come see them.
All right, thank you, and I appreciate that. You took the time out to share your awareness. Sometimes it takes a lot of courage, but everybody's voice need to be heard.
Right.
And thank you, and God bless you. You have a good day.